Welcome to the Raw Blog. It's December 20th, 0920, and welcome also to Albino One. So aside from the B-roll I just shot, and I'm probably going to put in this Raw Blog, I'm not going to do too much tour of the outside. Instead, I want to take you on a walk through my apartment because it is stunning in its beauty. So yeah, it's been a magnificent move-in process. And when I get inside the apartment and after the tour, I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the contrast that showed up and the manifestations that showed up. As I've said in many of my videos, whenever there's expansion, whenever there's a manifestation, contrast always shows up as a result of the expansion, because once you achieve expansion, you're ready to move to the next level of expansion, and you can't do that without contrast. And so contrast shows up in order for us to move to that next level. And that's exactly what happened as I was moving in, which I'll talk more about once I show you the inside of the apartment. This is a beautiful building, you guys, and I am just thrilled with the unfolding that began with a dream over 2 years ago. And here I am living in this beautiful, beautiful apartment. So without further ado, I will take you inside and show you the place. It is So just coming out the elevator onto the 7th floor. I don't know if you remember, in the dream, I had the experience of living on the 7th floor. And here is the beautiful hallway. I know it's just a hallway, but the way they put these windows at the end of the hallway is just really spectacular. It's very beautiful. And the other way, walking down the hall, it's beautiful, quiet, clean, really gorgeous actually. And in a minute, I'm going to show you some of the details of this beautiful building. This is the larger window on the west side, having a lot of the same view that I have from my apartment itself. Very high, very beautiful. And then down here on the 6th floor is a patio that's accessible to everyone, so they can sit outside and enjoy the summer sun when it's out or the winter sun when it's out. All right, let's keep heading over to my apartment. They have included some really beautiful details, such as the copying the motif of the exterior on the interior, the details. And I really appreciate the beauty of these lights. Every unit has them, and it just adds like a sense of luxury to the units themselves. Okay, let's go inside. Okay, here we are. You immediately are hit by this wow factor, the view outside the 2 windows. Check out the bedroom first. It's just a glorious view outside, all the way from the Fremont Bridge north, all the way south, if the Veterans Memorial Arena wasn't there, you could see all the way down the river, but you can see all the way to South Portland. Very beautiful. Then coming out of the bedroom, by the way, all the details are here, including this wonderful closet, which has ample space for my stuff, a ceiling fan, which is really cool. And then we come out of the bedroom and into the bathroom, which is 3 times larger than the bathroom in my previous apartment. And again, the same motif as outside, that beautiful blue color, modern sink, typical other things. Not much to see here other than what I've just shown. And then looking back at the front door, you have that beautiful accent color. My paintings go really well with that color also. Then coming into the main space, zoom out a little bit, we have the living room with, again, another gorgeous view of downtown Portland. Just a beautiful view that I really enjoy, especially at nighttime. The nighttime shots are just astounding here on the 7th floor. And then, of course, here's my Wayfair desk, which I've talked about in other blogs. And then we go into the kitchen with all the modern amenities. Thank goodness, a dishwasher, something I've been wanting for quite some time. Modern sink, very deep sink. Electric range with a air fryer integrated, Wi-Fi enabled. Microwave, perfect. And then my refrigerator. Very modern refrigerator with all the goodies in it. Large freezer, lots of room in there. And then every cabinet comes with this feature, this soft close feature, which I really, really appreciate. So that's the tour. I'm now going to set up on Wayfair and talk a little bit more about this manifestation, this beautiful apartment, how it's come to be, and some of the contrast and expansion I experienced as a result of moving in here. It really was an astounding experience that truly demonstrates alignment and the aspects, the spiritual principles underlying how physical reality works. This unfolding went exactly according to those principles, and I love how it unfolded so easily. So more about that in a second. My apartment is really beautiful, and I really appreciate the unfolding. I want to acknowledge that currently the equipment I have does not allow me to filter out the sound distortion in the apartment. It's very empty, and so there's lots of reverberation and echo going on. So it is what it is. But the apartment is really beautiful. And the moving in process was equally astounding. I just want to relate one experience I had while moving in to illustrate the fundamental concept in the positively focused practice, which is in every moment of expansion, there comes along with that expansion more contrast. And we need that contrast because the contrast sets us up. I'm just going to adjust this mic. The contrast sets us up for the next level of expansion. And so you can't have expansion without contrast. And so this story is going to perfectly illustrate that. It's a little long. I'll try to keep it brief. So I was moving into the apartment building, and to do that, because it has a secured door, I had to move my stuff out of the van to the secured door, then through this secured door, through the vestibule, into the lobby, and then from the lobby into the elevator. And then once I got up to the 7th floor, I had to move it off of the elevator and then down the long hall that you saw me walk down when I was recording the tour portion of this raw blog. So I had gotten a significant load, I think it was around 200 or 400 pounds, up the elevator and out on the... No, it wasn't up the elevator yet. I was in the lobby. I had all these boxes and other objects that needed to move into my apartment. And at that moment, an African American woman comes into the building. She's very short, about 4'7", maybe 4'8", and quite wide, probably 3 feet wide. And she's dressed in Carhartt gear and has a baseball cap on, turned sideways, and out the side of her cap are spilling these dreadlocks. And she comes in and she sees all my gear, all my boxes in the lobby. Now, this is not a flattering thing, what I'm about to say about myself. But I have some preconceived notions about African American people who look like she presented herself. And this is the contrast I was talking about. I'm already harsh on myself, so you don't need to be. When she came into the building, I thought to myself, okay, this is going to be an interesting situation, because I interpreted her as being one of those, what we would call in African American parlance, a thug nigga. And so she came into the apartment smelling of cigarettes, and I immediately had a negative reaction to all of that. She looked at my stuff, we greeted one another, and then she said, in this tone of voice, I'm going to lean into the mic so that you can hear, because she didn't speak very loudly. She said, "Yo, dog, you want some help with that?" Just like that. And the way she was being, of course, all physical reality is a reflection of our internal dominant thoughts and beliefs that are occurring at any given moment. And that includes the people we come into contact with. So here I was being confronted with old beliefs. Where did these beliefs come from? Well, I was born in Southern California, very Southern California. And way down there were hardly any black people. In fact, I was raised predominantly among white people, which explains why I speak the way I speak, among some other things about my personal embodiment of my personal culture. When my mom and dad divorced, after my mom tried to make it in Southern California, she realized she needed more support. So she moved us to the East Coast, to Hampton, Virginia, where her family lives, or part of her family. The culture that we moved into in Hampton, Virginia was exactly the opposite of what we were used to in California. It was almost all black. And as a result of that, I was in a culture shock. It was very hard for me to fit in, especially the way I speak and the kinds of grades I got. I got such good grades, but in that part of the country, that wasn't something to aspire towards. So I was teased for a lot of my way of being, and as a result of that, I developed some negative beliefs about black people. So here I am in the lobby of Albina 1, and I'm being confronted with those beliefs manifested by this woman. And so I'm seeing her through these beliefs and feeling threatened, not significantly threatened, but that feeling is there of not being accepted. And yet here she is offering to help me. So I say to her, "No, that's okay, I've got it." And she says, and again, I'm going to lean in because the way she said it was representative of my thoughts and beliefs about black people. She said, "You sure, dog? You know I can help you, dog." Like that. And I said, "No, that's okay, I've got it." And then she said, "All right, dog, you be you. You be you." Just like that.
And at that moment, something clicked within me. I knew at that moment that this was a opportunity to transform, to soothe my old beliefs. My old beliefs about Black people, my old beliefs that were associated with moving. Moving when I was a kid was not a positive thing, and we moved a lot because of our economic situation. There were all kinds of negative beliefs that were surfacing in me in that moment that I was approached by this woman. And I realized the moment she said, "You be you," that this was an opportunity to soothe a lot of those beliefs. So I said to her, okay, yeah, I'd really like your help actually. Give me a hand. And this woman, it was a blessing. Her showing up was a blessing. She not only helped me move all 200 or 400 pounds of my stuff into the elevator, she helped me move it out of the elevator to the 7th floor lobby. And then she helped me move it from the elevator lobby all the way to my apartment building. It turns out, so I live in unit 715. She lives in unit 718, just 2 doors down from mine. When she told me that, I knew this was not coincidence. So again, she helped me move all my gear into the elevator, then out of the elevator to the 7th floor lobby, and then she helped me move every piece of equipment, every box, every object to the front of my apartment door. I was chagrined. I was frankly embarrassed because here this woman was genuinely offering, welcoming me to the community in the most profound way, assisting me in moving in. And here I was judging her through the lens of my past negative momentum, my past beliefs that were formed when I was a kid over 50 years ago. If I wasn't so deeply in the positively focused practice, I could have felt deep shame and embarrassment about how I was seeing her. But instead, I saw her as the angel that she was. In so many ways, she offered me so much clarity and so much acceptance and welcoming to this community. It really knocked my socks off. And then, while we were walking back to get the last load back down the hallway, she said something that was quite surprising and funny, actually. We were walking down the hallway. Now we're on the 7th floor. And she says, "They put all us niggers up here on the 7th floor." Like that. And I heard what she said, and I did a double take because nobody put us on the 7th floor. The 7th floor is one of the best, I would say it's the best floor of the apartment building, unless you want to be closer to the ground. And so I said to her, "I got to choose my apartment. Didn't you get to choose yours?" And she said, yes, she got to choose hers. My point was, I don't think anyone's putting us anywhere. We got a choice here. And then she mentioned something really interesting. She said she had the chance, she toured the apartment that I'm in now, and then she selected the apartment at the end of the hall, 718. 718 is, I'm gonna take a picture of the fire diagram and point out where 718 is, so you can see that the shape of 718 is not as good as this unit is, nor is the view as good. And so it's surprising to me that she didn't pick this apartment, but at the same time, it's not surprising because this apartment was mine, selected by my broader perspective in a dream 2.5 years ago. And so it's not a surprise that she toured this apartment and decided to take the one at the end of the hall. Such magnificent manifestation. I really feel satisfied and appreciative of having fulfilled this manifestation, having moved into this apartment with this gorgeous view, these gorgeous amenities, and this wonderful space. And I know this manifestation is a direct result of my focus, my expansion, and soothing the contrast that allowed me to arrive at this level of my expansion. You can have this experience too. And so are my clients. My clients are having astounding experiences. It's why they keep coming back. You don't have to follow the positively focused framework. There are lots of people in the world who are offering this kind of material. I encourage you to seek out someone who can assist you in creating the experience that I have created for myself and that my clients are experiencing. The world is a wish-granting jewel, as the Buddha says. All we have to do is line up with our wishes, and they become our reality. Sitting here in this apartment is evidence of what I just said. All right. See you in the comments, or see you in the next video.